So what's the difference between the community coach and the certification track? We wanted to create two price points so that we could have a really diverse student group. But ultimately, this question we need to go back a little bit as to why we created the course, and then we'll kind of go into the detail. We wanted a course that would look at what are the movements that we need so we can keep participating or joining in life. And then around that, what kind of environments can we help people create so that people come again and again, and over time, those groups become support networks. To do that, we created this little diagram, which we do go into in the course. But we used the zone of proximal development and we based it on this. So in the middle, you'll see the movements that we need or that we do every day. These are movements you don't think about. Ultimately, they boil down to moving yourself from A to B or moving and manipulating an object from A to B. Now, to increase that zone of proximal development, just eke it out of that comfortable zone in the middle, over time, we need to play with a few different variables. And those could be, and those are not exclusive, and they'll always be kind of crossing over, increasing resistance, increasing or decreasing speed, the environment and the context, looking at the complexity of the movement, and understanding the confidence of the person doing it. And over time, when we mix all those up into different little bits, you can start to increase that inner circle so that there are more and more things that you can join in on. So for the community coach, you have access to all of the in-person teaching and all of the student time and the peer coaching that comes with that. All of the reading lists, you've got access to our online coaching community. But really, we see the community coaching level as a starting point, just a way to get you to start thinking more critically about movement. Maybe you're already a movement practitioner, or you're thinking about becoming a movement coach and you're not quite sure yet, or you want to just kind of understand a little bit more about the thinking around movement and community building that we talk about a lot, and the different kind of teaching tools. That's all we really want to get you to a place at the end of those 4 days of thinking, oh wow, I've just experienced all of this new information and my brain is sort of wearing around. I'm thinking, how can I take little bits from this course and make it meaningful for you and just kind of use it in your everyday life. So with the certification track, we have all of the in-person training, all of the reading, and access to the coaching community. But you also get a series of really thoughtfully designed coaching tools, which we call our coaching pathway, which takes you from just coming out of those 4 days where you feel like your brain is completely full and there is no way that you could coach or even begin to start coaching movement, to about 5 months down the line where you're confidently coaching a group and you have prepared enough so that when things come out of left field, which they always will, you're completely prepared to deal with them. Now, the coaching pathway looks at our skills map, which is here, but you can also download it. With the skills map, we look at those skills. So you've got the comfort zone skills, which is the kind of movements you do every day without thinking. And then we look at how we can eke them out. And we do this in a series of really thoughtfully designed lessons that start getting you to think as a coach, but also as a member. We start with body awareness, which is some spinal fluidity and spinal stability. Then we look at lifting and pushing and pulling, power production, falling, jumping and landing, all these different kind of movements and how we teach them. And we break them down into bite-sized chunk lessons. You get the warm-up, you get the why, you get the coach's talk, the thinking behind that session, and then you get a whole different variety of session plans that you can use with the population that you're teaching. Some of the session plans will be kind of strength and conditioning, so a bit more huffy-puffy. Some of them will be really, really gentle if you're working with older populations. Ultimately, at the end of that coaching pathway, you will be a much more confident coach. The thing that really struck us from other personal training courses or movement courses is either there is a huge emphasis on your athletic prowess as a coach, which we always thought was slightly irrelevant, or they were really, really technical. And then underlying all of that was an assumption that you would go and you would work with an existing movement coach or an existing personal trainer as a mentee. And now that's fantastic, but most of the people that we see are career changers. they've got 20, 30 years of career behind them. They're just thinking about something else they could do. And it is very, very unlikely that you're going to go and join a gym and work under someone for a few years so that you can really hone your skill. So what we wanted to do was create a whole toolkit so that you felt like when you left us from those 4 days, you weren't feeling kind of high and dry. You've got no idea how to even start coaching and all of those things. Like when you've just learned something, it feels like everything is right here at the front of your head and you're slightly panicking. We just break it down. We break the whole thing down. We have the skills map that guides all of our thinking that will become very apparent as we go. But each lesson we start with, okay, here's the overview. Here's why we're doing it. Here's the coach's talk. Here's the teachable chunk. This is the bit that we really want you to kind of focus on and to help your members with. Here's some ideas for warm-ups. Here's the peer coaching, a whole different peer coaching for a more established group or a peer coaching for a novice group. And here's some ideas for some games you could play to help people kind of loosen up and have a bit of fun. And then finally, here's the practical, here's the sort of meaty bit. And if that's with older populations, that will be something very, very gentle and playful. And if that's with younger populations, that could be kind of strength and conditioning, sort of more traditional workout. But we give all of that to you so that at every point in your coaching journey, you feel like, okay, I've really planned this. I've really thought it through. And if something happens, whether it's somebody's coming in with a hip replacement or they've just had a baby and you're not quite sure whether, there's a lot of by the time you start coaching people in their 30s and up, there's always going to be injuries or past injuries, all sorts. You just need to know that you've really thought about it so that when you start coaching, you feel completely confident that you can handle it as it comes at you. So if that sounds good, download the skills map below, book a call with us, and we can give you access to the coaching community for 1 week so you can see the coaching pathway and really get your head around how it works and the amount of support that you receive as a coach.